Wagwan Generals. We're back with the Wagwan Generals 2 weeks in a row, and that's because I went to a league challenge and a man told me that Wagwan Generals is the best like intro in the Pokemon podcast universe. And during Spotify Wrapped season, we're trying to get all the votes we can get. So I can't change that up at this time. It's a very critical time. If we made y'all Spotify Wrapped, please let us know. It's always I think last year the podcast was only around for like a month and a half, so we didn't make very many people's, but I'm hoping this year we might make a 1-2.
I saw some people on Twitter, they were tagging us, which was hype.
Yeah, I saw that
So
too.
really appreciate that, guys. Like, awesome. Makes me happy. I saw Jose tagged
Makes
us.
Kieran happy.
Ryan tagged us. So, yeah, shout out to everyone who listens to the Shift Gear.
Any man who has Shift Gear podcast on their Spotify Wrapped is absolutely certified. I advise you to show that on first dates if you ever go out, like on a Tinder date or something. Show them like, "Yo, I'm Shift Gear podcast 0.001% listener." Bro, it's guaranteed game.
It is game. I guarantee you guys. When I go on a date, I literally say that I'm top 0.1% listener of Shift Gear podcast. They don't have to know that it's my podcast.
Hey, I don't even think I'm top 0.001% of the podcast listeners. I never listen on Spotify, bro. But
Bro,
sometimes, you know, it's funny. You know what? Like sometimes, like I'll be editing this, and I'm like, I'll forget what I said, and I'll be like, "Yo, I kind of want to listen to what this guy has to say," and I'll listen to our whole podcast.
Yeah, like, yo, this is a good pod.
It's a decent podcast.
Yeah,
It's
I always
really
edit ours, and then
snowy out
I listen to it after. But oh yeah, it's very snowy
here.
today, Neil. I think our
Bro,
first big snow of the season.
as the kids say, there's bare precipitation. I know y'all in like upstate New York, you guys got hammered last week with some snow, but we're getting it up here this week. But the Toronto Regionals forecast, I looked at this earlier because I know y'all gonna be complaining if there's gonna be snow on the ground. It doesn't look like there's actually gonna be snow on the ground.
No, it's gonna be 0, but there shouldn't be some snow. So
they don't know what 0 means. You gotta translate.
I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. 32 in Fahrenheit. 30. There you go. So,
yeah, 32 degrees, nice and balmy for y'all.
It really sucks that they're putting Toronto Regionals into the winter. Like, I'm sure it's because the venue's cheaper, but like, yeah, it's like, why would you put it in the winter? But
Toronto in the summer, and like I honestly, man, like bias aside, Toronto in the summer, I've heard from multiple people like top 5 cities in the world, like
top
in
one.
the summer. It's insane. That's a top one of one. All right, welcome back. We'll talk about actual Pokemon, I swear. So we had Stuttgart Regionals last week, and last year actually had a really good time saying Stuttgart repeatedly on the podcast. So we're bringing that back. We have Stuttgart Regionals with a lot of data. We got juniors and seniors data this time. We got those on the screen that you're seeing right now. We got a lot of data, and Arcanine actually came out this morning too, saying we're going to publish every single man's deck list. So all y'all who thought you were safe, you're not. Your deck list is being publicized. So hold that down respectfully. But we have a lot of data to go through, and we have a infestation of a certain sand crab that we need to discuss at some point. So, Karen, why don't you take us from the top here? We'll start going through this.
Yeah, I mean, if we just look at the meta-analysis, I think these Rexall ads, I can't get them to go away.
Yeah, is that a good Rexall? Is the Dundas one, the one near your house?
I don't know. The one in Dovercourt? Yeah, no, it's nice. That one's actually no. I got mugged once while I was there.
You got mugged?
I didn't get mugged. Okay, like when I say mugged, bro, like some guy was like stealing stuff like while I was there. And, like the security was yelling at him, and the guy just didn't care. So he's like, "All right."
Nice. That's typical Rexall behavior. Now you got Adobe Cyber Monday. You can get some Photoshop 50% off.
So okay, I mean, yeah, the meta breakdown. I think one thing we were curious about was how much Miraidon would go up and play. I mean, I think it went to around that number that I think everyone expected, that 8% range. And Raging Bolt did slightly go down from Sacramento by a few percentage points, so I think maybe a lot of people who played Raging Bolt maybe did make the switch. Regidrago, still the most popular deck. Actually, all the decks went down in play, so I think there's a lot more diversity in the metagame. 11% for our most played deck is, I think, probably the lowest we've seen in a while. I can't remember the last time. That was really
surprising to me.
Yeah, I can't remember the lowest we got there, and then I love that they keep doing the best of the rest. Golden Go just missed the day 1 graphic. It had some success, which we'll talk about. Some big callouts for me. Lugia is just like completely off the graphic. Like both days. Or sorry, both graphics, like even best of the rest. Like he's not even the top 10 played most decks anymore. And honestly, I feel like Lugia is not even that bad right now. Like, yes, Miraidon and Lost Zone aren't ideal, but like no one's playing Temple. A lot of decks aren't playing Spiritomb. So I don't know. I think Lugia is honestly like fine still.
We've seen this before. We've seen this before. Y'all better be ready for Lugia.
I'm kind
Kieran's
of tempted to run it back again,
yeah,
but we'll have
broski's
to
coming.
see. I mean, if Drago doesn't play Temple, it's like the freest matchup ever, as long as you don't brick, right? So it's like, yeah, I think the big story is, like you mentioned, we had Klawf. It jumped all the way to 10% second most played deck day 2 without being on either graphic day 1. And I think I saw a tweet from someone that said over half the players who played Klawf in day 1 made day 2, which is like an insane conversion rate. So I don't know if you've been playing Klawf a lot, but I think the deck is honestly really good. Its matchup spread is kind of crazy. Your really only things you don't want to hit are maybe like Lost Box isn't the best. Charizard can be close, but other than that, you're good into the other aggro decks. You're very strong into Regidrago. Your Tropico's matchup is good. So yeah, I think
don't love Gardevoir either. Really.
Oh, Gardevoir, that's a good point actually. But yeah, but the bad matchups are like not very popular decks. So I think a question that I'm going to have here is for Toronto especially, but I guess there's a regional in Perth this weekend, is where is Klawf going to sit in our metagame? Because I do think Klawf is a really fun deck. I don't think it's that difficult to play. Like, there's obviously managing the poison, like trying to deny Fez, stuff like that. I think it's a deck a lot of people are going to maybe pick up and start playing. So, and, like, where do you think Klawf is going to be? Is it going to be on the day 1 graphic going forward? Is it still going to be like a day 2 or like a second graphic deck? What do you think?
I think it's a day 1 graphic deck. Not by much, but I think it's a day 1 graphic deck. It could fall anywhere between that 4 to 6%, I think, in my opinion. I mean, I've seen the deck. I've played against it a little bit. It's really, really interesting, and it seems like Klawf is one of those cards that people just kind of like and they want to make work. So the fact that Klawf is working is pretty cool. The fact that Drago kind of was absent last weekend is a little bit concerning for the long-term health of Klawf. Charizard being 1 and 2 is also somewhat concerning for the long-term health of Klawf. Klawf. Is Klawf a common card? That's important actually for my analysis.
It up.
Okay.
I mean, Drago wasn't absent. It was just absent in top 8, so I think it's still fine. Maybe the Klawfs
it's
that
absent compared to what we expected, though. Like 11% plus no top 8 is kind of crazy.
It's an uncommon.
Okay. All right, that changes everything. Klawf will be everywhere. No, I'm just playing. I find that when a card is like a common or uncommon, people just don't rate it. Like straight up, they just don't rate it. I don't know what it is, but it's like a subconscious thing. They're like, yo, I'm playing this common kind of meme card to a tournament. Why am I doing this? Yeah, no, I think the deck is good though. I think it'll have its spot in the meta, I think, for sure. I don't know if it's going to do well again. It feels like it kind of caught people by surprise last time, but hey, man, I'm all for it.
I mean, even, like, I don't know, like, even though Klawf, like, it's out of the cat's out of the bag, like, I mean, like, it's just like its matchups are good. And I think a lot of strong players played it. Like, if I click on it here, like Robin Schultz, like former world champion, was playing it. Nico Alabas, I think he's won an IC, was playing it. Jesper was playing it. Rahul was playing it. Oscar, this guy who made the Jet Palkia deck. There's a lot of great players playing the deck. Oh, Yuho was playing it. So I don't know, I think a lot of strong players picked up the deck, which I think kind of shows that some of the top minds in the game have faith in the deck. So it'll be interesting to see if the top players in the West start picking it up as well. So my guess is I'm going to guess it's going to be like 8% for Toronto. That's going to be my guess.
8%? That's really high, actually. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think the deck is good. I think people like Sacramento was a week before Stuttgart, so people didn't have time maybe to practice it and really figure out how to play it. But people have had, for Toronto, they'll have like 3 weeks to practice. So I think people will play it. And if I just look at the best,
it's still kind of bonkers to me. Sorry, it's still kind of bonkers to me that this format is so new. It feels like this has been around for a while, but it really is just like you said, like 2 weeks old.
No, 100%. And I think, like we said, there's no really new tier 1 archetypes from like Surging Sparks, but a lot of decks are just kind of like gaining stuff, like the Trolley makes Klawf good. Miraidon got Magnetons, or just stuff like that. Like decks, the meta feels very fresh and new, even without a lot of new decks, I think, just because like old decks got better or changed a lot, which is interesting. So yeah, if I look here, the best of the rest, we had 9 Arcalodons in day 2, which is kind of funny. Yeah, Golden Go there, Lost Zone. Lost Zone has kind of not performed to the level that I've expected it to do. Because that's another deck where I feel like on paper, it seems really good to me. Like, yes, your worst matchup is like the most popular deck, but you're pretty strong into most of the other decks in the format, in my opinion. So So I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen Lost Box make top 8 at either of these tournaments. I don't even
Yeah,
know what the highest placing
me
one
too a
was,
little
but
bit. It feels like every time I test against it or every time I play against it, it's really, really strong. So I don't know, it just kind of surprises me that it hasn't really broken through. But I mean, Toronto has long been known to be a very Lost Box friendly area. I would not be surprised if a lot of people came to Toronto with Lost
yeah,
Box. That and like the other thing that kind of surprised me with that metric you were just at is how low Maridon was in comparison to like how popular it was going into this, like how low that conversion was. So that might
yeah.
also kind of have something to do with it. I don't know. It's kind of a weird mystery, isn't it? Like Lost Box
Hmm.
seems like it should be doing a lot better than it is.
I mean, the deck is difficult to play. It has problems tying sometimes, so that might be it.
Hmm.
But yeah, if I had to guess, I would say one's gonna make top cut in Toronto. That's gonna be my guess.
I'm there
Um,
for it. I like it.
yeah, I mean, other things to point out, we had a Charizard mirror match in the finals, which is kind of crazy. Again, in a format dominated by Drago, to see that kind of get there. I think the second place list was more interesting. There was Pokestop in this list, which is kind of nuts to me. I don't know, like
Yeah, it's crazy.
whenever sometimes I test Charizard against decks like Raging Bolt, I'm like, oh, I have to Pokestop to see what I'm gonna hit. But I feel like you have a lot of cards that are really, really like bad to discard when you play Charizard. Like all your supporters. There's a Pal Pad in this list, I guess, to help mitigate that. You don't play that many
Your Forest
energies.
Stone, man. You can't discard the Forest Stone. You
Well, I
need
guess the
that.
idea is like Forest Stone, like you've used it by then, but just a
In
really
theory.
interesting innovation, I guess. I mean, Charizard is a deck you do need a lot of pieces sometimes. You're trying to get the Dusknoir line going, you're trying to get Pidgeot and Charizard like all at once. So I can see how it maybe like helps a little bit. I'd have to test this more, but yeah, I guess it's just more aggressive take on Charizard. Which there's a lot of fast decks in the meta, like stuff like Maridon, Raging Bolt, Moon, Klawf. So the stop maybe helps you keep up a little bit with these decks. So it kind of makes sense to me.
I respectfully just disconnected. I don't know if that was known or not, but
Oh no, you're good.
you see that? Yeah, that was seamless, bro. It was a respectful disconnect and reconnect to the Wi-Fi. Unreal. This is the problem when you have 4 people working from home all at the same time. You get in these Wi-Fi conundrums. So I have no idea what you said, but I'm sure it was very
Oh,
insightful.
that was very insightful. Other call out here.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this in a while. The 100 HP Charmeleon. This is
yeah.
a tech for Lost Box because it can't die to Greninja. Interesting because the other one is also kind of a tech to Lost Box. It can't die to Sableye.
Sableye.
But I guess, if like Pikachu does 300 to Charizard and you have 12 damage, you actually can't Lost Mine and kill Charizard and Charmeleon. So I guess it kind of is still safe. So yeah,
I
really
kind of messed with
interesting.
50 HP Pidgey too. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, playing one call for family is kind of interesting. I mean, I feel like it's only really good when you start with it. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, yeah, if you're getting Phantom Dives, you're getting Phantom Dives anyways. So yeah, interesting to see that one come back. So yeah, really unique take. The
Charizard.
list that won, I think is much more standard. Like honestly, I look at this like there's literally nothing crazy in my opinion. Just standard Charizard list for Arvin. Got the stamp, the seal, the collapsed. I don't know. This is like vanilla Charizard to me, but I mean, there's a reason.
I got nothing.
There's a reason it's vanilla
Yeah,
Charizard.
this
It's
is.
just good. So
How many times have we said Charizard is just a good card? It's just a good card, and if you play the game, you'll win a lot. I think Charizard is actually gonna be really popular in Toronto. That's another thing I wanted to kind of throw out there into the universe, and we'll have
yeah,
like a proper like Toronto preview video next week where we discuss New Ho King and Kendrick Lamar. But most importantly, like I think if Charizard's gonna be everywhere. Lost Box is gonna be everywhere. Like it's just like there's a certain meta that I don't know for some reason follows our city, but Charizard definitely fits that bill.
yeah. So actually, Arnie also he got day 2 at Gdansk and Lille with this list, so he stuck with it. And finally
Yo,
broke through.
that's
Got the
baller.
dub. That is hype. We had a Palkia Noctowl in top 4. Pretty interesting. So I know we saw for a little bit that Volbeat Illumise Palkia, the Jet Palk. This is just normal Palk Noctowl. Yeah, kind of interesting to me. I haven't put in enough games with
Yeah,
the deck, but like it doesn't seem that good to me. But I mean, I guess he got top 4, so uh, like, do you not just struggle with aggro with this deck? That's kind of what I'm
yeah, a
thinking.
little bit. I played this. This was actually my second choice for LAIC. I played the Jet Palk a lot, and obviously that one's a little bit different. It plays Volbeat, Illumise, whatever. I don't know if it's Illumise or Illumise, but that's
I
an
think it's
argument for another
Illumise.
day. Is it Illumise? But
Yeah,
why?
I don't know, because like they're trying to be
Ex-
French. I think.
explain your answer.
I mean, I watched the anime when I was a kid. They used to call it Illumise.
All right, then you're right. Yep, you win. But this deck is just it's consistent and it hits strong. So like as much as you do struggle with aggro, you also kind of are the aggro, and you run a lot of decks off the board just kind of turn one, turn two, just because your deck is strong. Your deck can attack with Greninja turn two almost all the time. It's consistent. You've Cologne. You've a lot of like different tricks up your sleeve. So this one also plays the energy switch, which I really like. I always
Mhm.
found that to be like kind of a weakness of the deck. Having the double trumpet plus energy switch basically ensures that after you use your first star portal, that you're not completely locked out of the game because
Mhm.
your attackers all take two energies. So I do like that. The vacuum's really cool. The Thornton, the Kieran is really interesting. Shout out Kieran one time. The card's kind of wacky, but I can see why it's good. Sometimes you just need that damage buff on
Yeah,
Palkia.
it lets
So
Palkia knock V-stars out.
yeah, I'm just surprised that it has that given that you play 3 area 0. But yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So interesting deck. It's one I'd have to spend more time with to have more thoughts on, but cool to see it in top four. We had a Gardevoir. This was another very unique list by Nathan Doyle. He credited Tord actually for inspiring this one. The triple call bell Gardevoir with Precious Trolley and one Buddy Poffin. So my
Yeah.
first thoughts when I saw this list, I'm like, what do you do when you go first? Like you play like no search for your ults.
Hmm.
Uh, you have to natural the Trolley or the Poffin. But I guess going second, you have 7 outs to Arvin. I guess so 8 outs to Trolley if you include the Trolley itself. So you should never be whiffing Trolley. Um, Pretty interesting. I'm sure if you asked him, he probably like whiffed Arvin turn one, like probably like only like 1 every 10 games. Uh, he's not. He only played 2 Iono as well, which I feel like that's one of the big strengths of playing Gardevoir. Is like it's so good at this disrupt, and taking stuff like the Fez off the board. Um, but I guess he's just saying like, hey, like if I set up and play the game, I think Gardevoir can just out trade. So very very interesting take on Gardevoir. I'm not sold on it, but obviously like it has a top four, which is like a fantastic result. So, what are your thoughts
Yeah.
on the call bell Guardy?
So you have like a little bit of a crutch too if you go first and you miss a bunch of rolls because you do play the two evos, so you can kind of just prop up a couple of them the next turn, which obviously is not ideal, but you do have somewhat of a crutch. I think the call bell is really cool. I'll be honest, I did not know what this card did prior to this weekend. Maybe prop it up there for everyone to see as well. It's a really unique card, and it is very situational, but the one time I think a card like this works is in a turn like a go first meta, right? Where everybody's choosing first, so you're gonna naturally default,
Yeah,
even if you're losing coin flips. 90% of the time, you're still getting what you want. So, I like this call. This call is it's interesting. It only works in this meta, right?
mm-hmm.
And it was really kind of genius by Nathan, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nathan and Tord, who I guess chef this with him. Really, really interesting. You play the Lost Vacuum as well, which I really like. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely reason to try out this list. Two Iono obviously is a little bit dodgy. You do have the Pal Pad, and you do have Fish to kind of fish it out if you need it at some point. But other than that, yeah, no beefs with this list for me. I think it's really, really creative and a take on Guardy that kind of was needed to kind of prop it up to
Yeah.
the standards of this new format.
I agree. And another thing like call bell, it's kind of like when you used to play VIP passes. Like after turn one, like you just refinement. You don't really care if you see it again.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of interesting. Like we had like Guardy was really good for a while. Then at Worlds, it was like everyone thought it was dead. Then Henry pretty much innovated the deck, and now we have another innovation on Gardevoir. So it seems like Gardevoir just needs innovation for it to really succeed. Um, but we had Mads with a very unique deck, the Dragapult Iron Thorns with the Toedscruel. Uh,
mm,
so a lot going on in this deck. Um, but yeah, I guess he did well. I'm sure he Iron Thorns like helps you slow down the game while you set up your Dragapult. You have the Toedscruel here. Maybe it's like a Golden Go tech. Um, I'm trying to think what else. I mean, against Raging Bolt, you can block Retrieval, I guess.
and
Uh,
prop that one up too if you don't mind, just so everyone can
yeah,
see it. It's a
yeah.
very
Cards in your
interesting
opponent's
card.
discard can't be put into their hand by effects of abilities or trainer cards. Um, it blocks Pokestop. A lot of decks play Pokestop in this format, so yeah, very
Yeah.
controlling style deck. I mean, Dragon Bolt is solid as well, I think. I mean, Raging Bolt is still very popular, which is not ideal, but it's starting to slowly creep down. I mean, we saw it at 10% for this tournament. Um, and I guess you have the Thorns that you can open to kind of slow down the Raging Bolt as well. So, really, really cool deck.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this Toad Scroll. Like the things that it counters, it's pretty cool. It's pretty useful against the things it counters, but the things it counters are all such like niche kind of situations. And if you're countering Golden Go's still like an under 5% deck. I'm not sure you necessarily need it to succeed. Obviously, I didn't make this deck. This deck looks really wacky, and it looks like it has a lot of inclusions that we would need the author of it to explain.
Yeah,
But just from the surface, like I don't see the crazy appeal to Toad Scroll. I'm sure there's some niche situations we're forgetting. But like I guess it doesn't matter too much if you give up a prize as long as you set up all your Dragon Balls and your Iron Thorns. I guess you don't care too much. So
yeah.
just like kind of a nonsense ad there, I guess, more or less. But very, very cool deck. Like super unique. 4 Crispin is always interesting. You play Trolley, you got 4
Yeah,
Thorns. It's just like there's so
Trolley's
much
seeing a
going
lot of
on.
play actually. Trolley seems to be the most impactful card maybe from Surging Spark so far.
I like Trolley a lot, man.
Yeah,
I really like it. I started testing it in Zard initially, and I didn't like it that much in Zard, just because it feels like you need the stamp at some point to kind of play the game and disrupt your opponent enough to come back. But dude, the Trolley, like you've seen it in Guardy, you're seeing it in this. I've seen it in some other decks as well, like just randomly prop up, and it reminds me of Playground Pichu because that's kind of what Playground Pichu did as well. So really, really interesting card.
yep, agreed. Okay, cool. Then we had 2 Golden Go make top 8. So first was Owen. He played a more traditional build. He played just like the Palkia, Energy Surge Pro, Pokestop. Nothing too exciting going on here. And then we had Tuan. And Tuan's the person who always posts all the translations, so very happy to see them get a finish here. They played the Togekiss version. They actually like beefed up Togekiss even more than the top 4 lists we saw from Sacramento. Tuan was playing 2/2 Togekiss. Just really, really valuing the Wonder Kiss, the ability to take extra prizes. So I've played with both versions. The Togekiss version, one thing is like it plays less energies. So sometimes it's really annoying. It feels like I need to double SCR a lot to take my prizes as the game goes on. But Togekiss a lot of times just like fixes your prize maps. Like you flip like 1 heads, I'm like, all right, like I had to take a single prize knockout somewhere, like 1 heads down the line. I'm like, all right, I just took 3, I'm gonna win again now. So it'll be interesting to see going forward if people kind of lean towards playing the Togekiss version or if they play the Palkia version. I think the Palkia version is a bit more consistent and it has a little bit more tricks. Like you do have the option to use Greninja against decks like Charizard. They're still not playing Manaphy. You can take 2 prizes with Greninja. Then the Togekiss version, it gives you an opportunity to like cheese games. You don't need to do it every game because Golden Go is actually already pretty good at just prize trading naturally. But yeah, Togekiss gives you chances to win games I think would be unwinnable otherwise. So, Neil, do you have a strong opinion on which version of Golden Go is your preferred version?
Very, yeah, very strong opinion actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I have a strong opinion on which one is better than the other, but I have a strong opinion on the Togekiss itself. Like so the 101 line that was being played the last regional. This card is almost integral to your strategy of this deck, and I agree with you in the sense that Golden Go is strong enough by itself to kind of withstand a lot of games, but Togekiss is part of your win con most of the time. And the 101 line never really resonated with me because the thing with Togekiss is the sooner you get it up, the more chance it has to impact the game and fix what you need to do. So when you're playing the 101, you prize one of the pieces, you're like, all right, whatever, I'll dig it out eventually. That strat doesn't really work with Togekiss. Like it's not plausible unless you're just banking on flipping heads at the end of the game once, right? So the sooner you get up Togekiss, the better. So having the 202 is really nice. I would argue you can even go to 102 and play Heavy Ball. This list doesn't play Heavy Ball. I would like to see a Heavy Ball in this build just because Manaphy, Iron Bundle, Greninja's like so integral to your setup most of the time. So I'd like to see a Heavy Ball in here, but I think the list is pretty cool. The retrieval is interesting as well. I don't know how I feel about the retrieval over the 4th stretcher. Obviously, you can argue that eventually you'll probably be using a stretcher for an energy at some point. So retrieval is cost effective and better. But yeah, like I think the build is just an improvement of the one from last weekend. I think this is the correct build to play of the Togekiss version. I think you do need the 202 or at least a 102 and a heavy ball, but prizing the 1 Togekiss a lot of the time when you only played the 1 was really, really punishing. So I do like this a little bit better.
Yeah, and one thing to point out is Tuan played the correct Togepi. The Touch of Happiness one, when you play it, you can heal 10 from your active. It's actually very relevant because if you play against Regidrago, if they Phantom Dive, they can do 200 to Golden Go and they can finish it off with 60 on the bench. So healing 10 can be relevant in that matchup. So
yeah, the only reason Victor didn't play it the weekend before is because he couldn't find them.
Yeah, exactly. They're from an old set.
Yeah.
Okay, then last deck to go over here in the top 8 is, we talked about earlier, is the Klawf, Robin Schultz, former
Let's
world champion.
go.
He made a couple changes. One change he made that I think makes a ton of sense to me is he plays Genesect. So if you have a tool on it, your opponent can't play their ace spec. One thing I found when I played the Klawf deck is, like, I have too many tools. I'm like, I don't need all of these, right? And when you have a Rangoose, you can always find them. So just being able to, like, plop my second Forest Sealstone, an extra Mochi, like an extra capsule. You plop it on this guy, you block Prime Catcher, you block Unfair Stamp against those decks. Really, really solid. So I think a really cool innovation from Robin, just to understand how the deck functions. You can definitely tell he played games and thought about it. But otherwise, the list is very, very similar to the lists that we saw got top 32 in Sacramento. And when I was looking at the other people playing Klawf, their list was also pretty similar to the one that got top 32 there. So I think going forward, this will probably be like the standard Klawf list. People are probably going to copy this one. So what do you think, Emil?
Yeah, no, I like this list. It does look like a pile visually. When you look at it, you're
It
like, what the
does.
hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Um, but it is really, really cool the way that this was put together. I think the deck is really, really strong. You have Pekarant, you have Ray and Sneasler to kind of pick off random kills at random times, which I think is really cool. And obviously you got Amoonguss, or I guess it's Brute Bonnet.
Brew Bonnet.
You got our boy Brute Bonnet to just inflict poison at random times. And I really like that. I think this deck is aggressive. I think it's cool. You will break a little bit, obviously, just with the nature of what your deck is. Like, you have what am I counting there? 7, 8 random EXs and Vs in your deck that are basics.
Yeah.
So inevitably you're gonna start one and you're gonna hate your life. But other than that, you have Latias to fix that and retreat at any point. And I mean, I guess Orangaroo and Electrode are kind of niche application Vs, but
Well,
seems
Orangaroo
like
you use
most of your
almost every
starters are
game.
okay.
So Orangaroo's like your best starter. So
Yeah, fair enough.
also, like, if you start Orangaroo and you go first, like, you can donk your opponent like almost 100% of the time because you get Trolley plus you
Yeah.
get the thing. And also, like, I do think that's an underrated part about this deck. I know people know about it, but it's like you can donk people super, super easily, which I don't think any other deck can do. Well, no other deck can do it going first. So you can definitely cheese wins. Like, going forward, if I'm playing like an evolution deck, if I open 2 basics in my hand, like, I'm benching both of them. Like, as long as the other one doesn't grief my game. Like, I'm not benching Lumineon to start the game, but like, if I'm playing Charizard and I have Charmander, Pidgey, I'm like, they're both coming down. Even though normally, like, I know it's a habit to only bench one. Because yeah, my opponent could be playing Klawf, and like I could be getting poison donked. So
Yeah, you don't want to go second into Klawf. I'll say that.
no. So I will say it's
Yeah.
like it is really fun too when you precious trolley for like 7 Pokemon. Like, feels insane. So no, this is definitely the coolest, probably the coolest deck in the format. I think it's good. I think its play is going to just continue to rise. And I think it's going to keep putting up results. And we're already seeing some top players in the game picking the deck up. So I'll be interested to see how many top players decide to play it in Toronto and in Perth. I don't know how many players besides the Australians are going to be in Perth. I mean, we'll have the Australian group. I wonder what deck they'll play. If I had to guess, they're just going to play Regidrago, but maybe they'll pick up Klawf. You never know.
We will see.
Yeah.
Should we take a quick intermission and put up the wraps?
Oh, that's right. All right, and so Spotify today released Spotify Wrapped. I think everyone is very excited. I think my timeline, my Instagrams, everyone's just posting their wrap. So Neil sent me his Wrapped. I haven't looked at it yet, actually.
Yeah. So I wanted to, I'll give some background on this. So I want to preview, I wanted to start a track of the week segment on the podcast. Like, I know a lot of people like music and a lot of, I do have conversation about music with people outside of this a lot, who do enjoy my taste a little bit. So I want to start promoting some cool tracks that I've been listening to once a week. And some of them are pretty jokes. If you're under 18 and don't like swearing, don't listen to anything. Or listen to the clean version. That's also an option. So I sent Kieran my Wrapped, and this is really ghetto. You can kind of see it's like a screenshot of my Instagram. Hey, Julian's in the middle there liking my story. Shout out Julian, bro. So Julian Gorberry liked my story, and this is my Wrapped for this year. And every year it's a little bit different. And the one that killed me this year made me die, bro. I had Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, I'm actually a little
3.
surprised you had Nick. You do not strike me as a barb, Neil.
No, I'm not, and I can explain why it happened. So if you look on the right side, you see R&B number 2. It's
Okay.
it's a Nicki Minaj song that is heavily carried by the feature artist. And bro, I was bumping that song, man. I love that song. And if you haven't listened to R&B by Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne, and I forget who the last guy is, but it's really, really good. Go have a listen. Really, really good song. As you can see, I don't have many minutes listened on Spotify, so I use Spotify and Apple Music 50/50, so you can go to the next one. like when I'm in my car, I use Spotify. When I'm like by myself, I use Apple Music because my car streaming is better for Spotify. And this was really surprising to me. So I had Drake at number 4. Dude, I don't listen to Drake. I
Right.
don't understand how that
It
happened.
seems like everyone says they don't listen to Drake, and then I look and like half the people have Drake on their rap.
Yeah. I think it's deceiving because Drake has a lot of feature songs and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of songs where he has good features. So like you don't
You're just a
realize he doesn't to
closeted
Drake.
fan.
Yeah, but you listen to a lot of Drake. So the good news is Kendrick is at 3 and Drake is at 4. So we have that kind of
That's
sorted out
funny.
there. And yeah, and Kendrick actually announced a tour in Toronto, a tour date, and I wanted to buy tickets, but they're like $600, so I will not be doing that. The other weird outlier, I had MGK there at 13, which I
That's an
do
L for sure,
understand.
bro.
Yeah, I do understand it because I listen to a lot of his rock stuff. His rock stuff's actually pretty
Mm.
good. If y'all haven't listened to MGK's rock stuff, go listen to it. It's actually really good. Other than that, track of the week. Track of the week. We'll go with R&B. R&B by Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne, and that other dude that I don't
Nice.
remember. Go listen to R&B. That's the track of the week.
All right, well, then my rap, I had no doubt who my number one artist was going to be. I don't have the actual thing, but it was Pink Pantheress, my queen. I love her
Top
music.
0.05% fan.
Yeah, there you go, bro. But this is also funny. Spotify like makes some like persona. They're like, oh, in April you were a Pink Pilates Princess Escape Room Bedroom Pop. That was my vibe.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know, but I thought it was funny. So I posted on my
That
Twitter.
that is crazy. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good.
I think it's hilarious, bro.
Room
This sounds
bedroom
great.
pop. What is room bedroom pop?
I don't know, bro. What is Pink Pilates Princess Escape Room Bedroom
At
Pop?
least that seems like kind of like appropriate. Room bedroom pop does not sound like something child friendly.
What? Room Bedroom Pop? How does that not sound child friendly?
I don't know, man. What was the
You listen
rest? Do
to
you
it
have
in
the
your
rest of it?
bedroom, bro. Am I wrapped? Yeah, I have to pull it
Yeah.
up on my phone real quick. I had Kate
Pull it up on the
Trinata.
phone.
Kate Trinata is my second favorite artist. I had
So you
Fred
actually
again.
learn a lot about people like just from the rap. That's why we're doing this, guys.
Yeah, Kate Trinata is definitely my second favorite artist, and him and Pink Pantheress have a song together. It's called "Snap My Finger." Great
Okay.
song. I had Fred again. Fred
Okay.
again is definitely one of my favorites.
That's a popular one, yeah.
I had this guy called called Kato. It's like lo-fi artist. I just listen to lo-fi while I work.
Okay.
And then I had another lo-fi artist at number 4. So 2 lo-fi artists, and Pink Panther has Kate Trinata and Fred again. Those are my top.
Okay. I'll be honest, I don't resonate with this as much as you wouldn't resonate with mine either. So it's
Yeah.
we got very different music tastes. We've always known this. Surprisingly for me, actually, dance hall did not break into my top 15 this year, which is the first time that's ever happened. Like normally I have like some sort of Jamaican dance hall going on in my top 15. This year, I think the reason why I don't have it is because I listen to it mostly on like Spotify on my car, and that stuff doesn't track. So I don't know, man. It's really weird. But listen to some Conscience in your spare time, and you won't regret it.
Nice. All right, my track of the week is "Do Picture in My Mind" by Pink Pantheress. That's my favorite song she has.
All right, y'all listen to those tracks. Let us know if they're trash.
Yeah. Oh, actually, my other lo-fi artist was it's like Pokemon lo-fi. That's kind of funny.
You know what was actually jokes, and I forgot to mention this. 2021, I think, or 2020, one of those years, Nyae was on my top
Nah,
5
come on,
listened
bro.
songs
There's
of the
no
year.
way.
Oh yeah, it was unreal. Cause
Bro, how do you listen to it that many times?
no, it's because I like I mentioned, I have these skewed stats, right? Because I 50/50
Hmm.
my listeners. So when I'm in the whip and I'm just like driving with the boys, I want to put on something funny. Nyae was always coming on. It's so funny, man. It, like when it presents your Wrapped, right? Like it plays the song for you, and it's like opening up this like poetic, like floral thing with Nyae playing in the background. It was absolutely unreal. So this year, unfortunately, no meme songs made my top 10.
Nice.
I'll do better
Well,
next year.
yeah. All right, if you're an adult, you can go listen to that song that Yella said. There's a CP24 like news segment about it. It's like the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, it's unreal. Look up CP24 Nyae on YouTube. You will not regret it.
Oh, whoops! I just closed my tab that had all the stuff on it. Yeah. So yeah, let us know what your Spotify Wrapped was. Anything interesting? I always like seeing it. It's like Aneil said. I'm always surprised when I'm scrolling through social media and I see some of my friends Wrapped. I'm like, oh, I did not expect you to be listening to
Brother,
that.
I've seen some crazy stuff today, man. There was I can't even say this on air. No, I'm not gonna say. There was some girl on my timeline who was listening to some very foul music made by a meme artist that made a very
Okay,
popular song that I can't say on live. But you learn
true.
a lot about people.
Yeah, you do for sure. And speaking of learning, we learned EUIC Reg is next week. I think this is the earliest I've seen an IC Reg in a long time.
Mm.
Uh, 2 months ahead of a tournament. I mean, we're improving a lot, Aneil.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'd still prefer a little bit earlier, but yeah, I think 2 months is a reasonable amount of time to put reg, especially since I assume the event's going to sell out very quickly. Luckily, I have prio reg this time, so I can just chill. It's not going to be stressful. But Neil, are you going to be at UIC?
I don't know. Yeah, probably. I don't know. Like, I'm so half in, half out that we'll see.
I feel like you
I
have
love
to.
spending. Yeah, I kind of have to, but like I also don't care too much. So it's like I don't know if I'd. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I like February in Toronto, so I'm kind of iffy, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, just to get the points, it's an IC.
There's no harm in signing up and deciding later, which is
Yeah.
what I really like.
Well, I mean, they got rid of refunds this year, unknowingly. So actually, maybe
Oh, did
ICs
they?
you can. Maybe you can refund the ICs because it's by Pokemon. Because I know the regionals you can't because the organizer doesn't let you. But ICs
Actually,
maybe you
no,
can.
no, you're right because I signed up for UIC and NAIC last year. I didn't get a refund for either of them. I only went to one IC last year.
Yeah, so
I took the $100 L on both of them.
that's tough. So yeah, I'm excited to go. This will be my third EUIC. Yeah. I have family that lives in London, so it's always a good time. Then Sacramento Reg is today as well. I actually found San Antonio. I actually found a really cheap flight on like Cyber Monday, so I'm gonna go.
Sick.
My cheap it was still like $380, but
big issue. Big issue. The Spurs do play that weekend. They play at home, but they play at 12 p.m. on the Saturday. What the hell am I supposed to do with a 12 p.m. Spurs game against the Pacers on a Saturday? Why?
The Pacers,
Why are we
bro.
doing
You don't
this?
need to go to that.
Bro, I'm trying to see my boy Pascal, man.
You can go to Indiana to do that.
I could, or I could just. I'm already in San Antonio.
You played in Toronto last night, bro. Why didn't you just go in Toronto?
Yeah, I know, because I don't care enough. I just want to go to different arenas that I haven't
Yeah.
been to. Like we went to Charlotte last year and went to the Hornets arena, and it was like genuinely really, really modern, nice arena. But like for some reason, the sound system was just terrible. Like you couldn't hear anything. So, but like I mean, the tickets were like $30 on StubHub, so
Yeah,
I
so
can't
it's worth
complain.
it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Pelicans
So,
tickets are $2 right now if you're interested.
$2?
They're $2 on StubHub.
That's crazy.
Okay, let's quickly like go through the rest of this, and then we'll give people their life back.
Of Stuttgart?
Yeah. Anything you wanted to point out? Is there anything cool that we can look at? I saw a bridge. Let's go to the bridge.
The Arcalodons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at this earlier because I was curious. It seems like Dalga is coming out as like the most popular. This list was the highest placing, the one top 32. They played the trolley. I've seen most people have been playing either Secret Box or they've been playing Scramble Switch. But this one also plays Call Bell, actually. Pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, you play 4 Gear, Greninja, 4 Arven, 3 Call Bell, and a lot of other stuff. So you have a pretty good chance of finding one if you're going second.
Yeah, and they play Turbo Energize. So this deck, I guess, the idea is you Turbo Energize the Dialga, and maybe you go for a quick Star Chronos V-Star attack. I mean, this is the most unique list I've seen for Arcalodon so far. And it's the most successful one we've seen so far. So, yeah, maybe this is the way to go.
I like it a lot. Like, the Dialga adds another dimension to the deck where you almost have to always respect the Dialga as the opponent, right? Like, you see Dialga hit the field and you're like, okay, like, I am cooked if I don't respect this right now. And, like, Star Chronos is so good that it can just warp an entire game.
Yeah, 100%. And 220 is just a fantastic number. It knocks out most, like, the basic Vs and EXs. So, yeah, interesting. Call Bell might be the sleeper card of the set.
Yeah, I gotta go look through my bulk, bro.
Might be what we need. Actually, bro, I have all my bulk from the set right here, I think. I need to see if... Or not this pile. I don't know if I ordered Call Bell, bro, when I got all the bulk, bro. Actually, whatever. Oh, no, I do have Call Bell. 1, 2... Let's go. I have a place at a Call Bell.
Call Bell. Yeah, that's the thing, yo. Like, we were just talking about this before we got on air. Like, we have some of our boys, like, asking us for, like, commons and stuff that are coming to Toronto. And I'm like, broski, like, I'm just not organized like that. Like, I can't just, like, look through one pile and find the common you need. So, like, good on Ciaran for having it right there, but it might take me an hour to find these Call Bells, respectfully.
Well, bro, what's it called? If Jeremy gave you the same card that I asked for, I put Call Bell on the list for you.
Respects, bro.
Yeah.
You have I got Call Bell then. All right, let's look. What else we got?
Okay, we have a Starmie version of Dralodon. Starmie just helps Dralodon hit some bigger numbers. Interesting. With the Thornton, this is more of the Scramble Switch. This is more of what I've been, like, standard, I guess I would say, of what I've been seeing from Arcalodon.
Happy to see Scramble Switch eating, bro. I like me some Scramble Switch.
Yeah, it feels like Scramble is a really cool card, and even back in like the Plasma era, it never really saw as much play as a card with that effect really thought it would. I mean, I guess it had to go up against like computer search and dowsing, and I guess now in this format you're competing against so many other ace specs. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Got a couple more here. I'm just gonna click some random ones.
They're all like more or less.
Yeah,
Actually,
this
this one's
one's Prime
not the same,
Catcher. Dangerous Laser? Come on. Oh my god, bro. Why is there a Dangerous
bro. Now,
Laser
yo,
on my
we're actually
screen?
not serious. We're actually not serious.
What is this? There must be. Okay, wait.
Yo,
So
what place was this? What place was
if
this?
you do 220, plus you do Starmie, plus you do Ciaran, plus you do Dangerous Laser, you do 280 Aneil. No, you do 300 actually. Is there burn? Oh no, wait. No, 290. Sorry, because it's burn, not and poison. 120. Top 128.
Okay, guys, no disrespect, all right? No disrespect to anyone playing Dangerous Laser or anybody at all who believes in the system. But this is what happens when we let in 5/2-1s. This is what happens. We get Dangerous Laser in top 128. And honestly, like, it's not even like a no disrespect thing. Like, respects to this person who brought Dangerous Laser to top 128. Like, genuinely impressive. But this is what happens.
Well, let's see, Neil, if he was 5/2-1 or not. Let's see. I'm gonna load
Yeah,
him.
I'm just trolling. He probably wasn't. I bet you this guy wasn't. Let's see.
No, bro, he was
No, yeah.
602.
There you go.
With a
I just want to
Dangerous
make a point
Laser.
that I hated 5/2-1, but yeah, that's genuinely very impressive. Whoever you are, you have my respects.
Andrew Elliott, you have Aneil's respect.
Shout out Andrew Elliott.
Dangerous. You are the 4th person on Limitless to play Dangerous. Also, yeah, why were people? Aaron, why are you playing Dangerous Laser and Iron Thorns?
Why did this previously exist?
Dude, what is it? Iron Crown, Iron Thorns, Dangerous Laser?
Nice.
Not nice. No, I don't want to see Dangerous Laser.
Bro, do you think I want to see Dangerous Lasers? I don't want to see this.
This is kind of jokes, though. Like, bro, how do we? Did no one talk about this deck when this came out? What is this?
We must have missed this when this happened.
This is so jokes.
Team Marina. It's just like a future box just with thorns.
Yeah, interesting. All right, cool.
All right, cool.
Anything else interesting? Roaring Moon's actually been like sneakily doing well lately as well. A lot more. We had another top 16. I think it got top 16 at LASE and SAC as well. Looks like a group of players played it together. Always nice to see. I mean, pretty standard to be honest. Like, you know, Latios, they have the Crydon, which I've been seeing in most lists. They did play Pekrunt. I mean, this just like knocks out like one prizers pretty easily, which is
I really
nice.
like that card.
So it also goes through Fez if you do that. So yeah, the promo Pekrunt seeing a lot more play this format, and I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've been seeing some people like ask about Roaring Moon. A couple of my like students asked me about playing Roaring Moon. I'm really encouraging it. Like I think like Roaring Moon's actually like, deceivingly very good.
Yeah,
like,
it's in a good
even
spot.
our boy, Charles DeBreton even hasn't played for 4 months. He's saying, "Yo, bro, like Roaring Moon's still good." Like, yeah, it is. Run the moon, man. If y'all are like kind of in between on this, I actually like I don't know. I'll speak for myself. I shouldn't say we, but I actually really believe in this deck right now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Also, like Lugia's way down in meta share, and that was one of your worst matchups. So yeah, definitely in a good spot.
Nothing else really that interesting, eh?
There's 5 gouging fires. Oops, no.
Surledge. Yo, Shen Pao did well again, didn't it?
I'll check in a sec. Let's see Lugia. Alright, we still had some Lugia. Constant's still playing it. Let's see, standard list, I think. Yeah, it's still pretty standard. I need to spend more time messing around with like different builds of Lugia. I have not had any time. I was gonna see if I could get a blender build going, but I mean I feel like you need Legacy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean Constant's still playing like his classic style with the Great Balls. Yeah. I mean Lugia's still Lugia. Slightly worse meta, but I think still.
This is a joke. Someone like tagged us on Twitter. I'm just looking at it right now. Someone tagged us in the Spotify Wrapped, and Shift Gear was 3 and Beach Court was 4, and Eric just like commented like a rage response. Not number 1. Ouch. Oh, it's so funny, man. I love it's funny because like all of us podcasts, like we've bare respect for each other, but it's like so funny to like just like meme beef on Twitter. It's amazing. I love it.
Yes.
Other than that though, yeah, like I think we wrapped up basically everything.
There's a Regigigas, Neil. Let's see what the Reggie's list was.
Sure, we can talk about Regigigas. We're really in the depths of hell right now.
Yo, Kieran is in a lot of decks, bro.
Don't gas yourself, bro. You're mid. I don't know what
I'm
to tell
mid.
you, man. You
Oh,
switch a man, or you do 30 more. I mean, like, there's never going to be an Aneil card, so I guess you have that above me. But
yeah.
like, I don't even know how the name Aneil came to be. I don't support it. I think my parents are just bored, but I don't know. How many times, like, when people see your name, do they say Ciaran? They do,
Oh,
right?
all the time. Ciaran, Siren.
Siren.
Bro,
Siren's kind of jacked.
the commentators for the longest time could not say my name. Uh, bro, like they still can't say my last name half the time, but you know, it's getting better.
It's really not that hard. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not trying to like get salty, but I feel like it was a bit disrespectful for a while, to be honest. But you know, now they all know.
Yeah,
So
there's bigger problems at play right now, bro. It's politically disrespecting your name.
well, it's
Crazy.
not political. It's just like, bro, like it's not that hard. Or like,
Well,
there's
maybe they just don't want to.
bro, I'm not gonna call this guy out by name, but there's a guy like the stream rep, and like I've met him like 5 or 6 times every time I'm on stream, and bro, he literally like always calls me Ciaran every time. I think last time I was like, bro, like how do you still not know?
That's kind of live. I actually might call you
Yeah.
CRN. No,
So
I'm
I mean,
kidding.
hey, that's what most people call me when they see my name.
Well, there
Like
you
when
go.
I go to
All
like
right,
stores, I always just like I use fake names all the time when I'm at, like for my orders and stuff. Cause like I'm like I don't really want to go by
CRN it is,
Kieran.
man. I'm
Yeah.
locked in.
So
All
there you
right.
go.
Well, all right. Let's wrap this up. We have Toronto next week, so we're gonna be back hopefully, and we'll get that episode out on Wednesday next week. Discussing New Ho King, Toronto, the CN Tower, the aquarium, the Toronto Raptors, and their unethical tank, which is no longer an unethical tank because we're
Yeah, you
too
got the
good.
Christmas market this time of year actually.
The Christmas market, yep. I'm going to Winterfest on Saturday. They hike the prices up. Don't go there. It's like $100. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but we'll discuss all things Toronto, the meta, where you guys should go, and we'll have that whole preview video for you guys next week. Is there
Sweet.
anything else you want to add on?
No, thanks for listening, guys.
All
I
right,
need to go give my voice a rest. I was like struggling through this episode.
this guy's been dying the last few weeks, bro. It's crazy. Call 211 Toronto Crisis Service. They might be able to help
Nice.
you out.
Thanks.
All right, y'all. Thanks for being here. We'll talk to you next week.
Later, guys.
Peace.